sky is falling on our Sixers. The process is coming to an end. That's the sky is falling attitude right there. This James Harden saga. I'm leaving the color on the screen, midnight green, for our Philadelphia Eagles. We are going to talk practice with the Cleveland Browns from yesterday. We're going to talk a lot of things about the Eagles today, of course, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. But the process, the Sixers, the James Harden saga. We got to talk about it some today, too. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network starts in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, X. That's right, it's X. Live on all those platforms. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, turn the notifications on. Trending in the AM, the number one morning show in Philadelphia, and the only show where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, here every single morning on Trending in the AM. What is up, Adam? How you doing today? Mad Chatter already dropping Zeke to the Patriots. It's on my list of things to talk about today. It is. It's not the top priority, but it is on the list of priorities to talk about today. Look, we got lots happening. Lots happening today. Lots to get into today. I do want to dive more into this James Harden situation with the Sixers. Obviously, Eagles had their joint practice yesterday with the Cleveland Browns. And as we've said before, we learn more about the joint practices about our team than we do in the preseason game. So we've got to dive into that. I got a fun little Jim Schwartz conversation I want to bring to the table as well. But let's get started here today with this Sixers. Every sports show, better than every sports show. That's right. Good morning, Tyrone. How you doing today? Spamming me with how great Sam Darnold is. Yeah, Sam Darnold stinks. That is without a shadow of doubt. Good morning. And go Birds and go Union. Yes, that is right. Mr. Messi, is it Lionel Messi? I don't even know how to say his name, is in Philly. Although I did hear he hurt his ankle in practice yesterday. So all those people paying $500 for tickets, maybe they don't see Messi today. We were going to do a little Messi talk today and a little Union talk today. We pushed that off for now. This James Harden thing has got my mind in a pretzel. It's all knotted up. Yeah, we know Sam Darnold. Why do we have to start the show with something as obscure as Sam Darnold sucks? That's something that everybody knows. But look, yesterday, right before the show started, I hear those James Harden video comments, and we dove into it for a few seconds, and we didn't really spend too much time on it. Now, this morning I wake up and I see comments from PJ Tucker saying I'm going to stick with my bros. His man, James Harden. On a side note, did anybody see the video of James Harden riding a scooter around the gym? Like, that's the guy that's holding our Sixers organization hostage right now? Like, seriously? A guy scooting around on a scooter? Really? I love in the comments how everybody not just says hi to me, but says hi to each other. You guys, man. What a community. And Trending in the AM. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube, guys, and on Facebook. I greatly appreciate it. That's the guy holding us hostage? A guy driving a scooter around a gym, dancing with some little, Chinese, what's that music called? Dance girl, doing really bad dances. That is who's holding us hostage? But yeah, PJ Tucker now saying that he's going to stick with his bros. Joel Embiid deleting Philadelphia, deleting processing from his handles on social media. I don't think it's what people think it is. I don't think he's asking for a trade out yet. I think he's making a statement, though. He's too social media smart to not know what he's doing. And he's doing it to send a message to Daryl Morey, Nick Nurse, Josh Harris. Yo, let's fix this. Let's go. This I'm working my tail off to get ready for the season, and this is what's going on. He's making a statement. Come on, stop it with the Sam Darnold talk, man, Chad. Of course, we knew PJ Tucker was going to take hard side. Hell, we've already heard the rumors that if he got traded to the Clippers, that they were going to try to include him in that deal, which I'm perfectly fine with. PJ Tucker should never have been brought here in the first place. That was another one of the Daryl Morey mistakes. Absolutely bonkers, I think, is the completely perfect answer to this situation that's going on. Yeah, he removed it, but I don't think it's because he's asking out yet. He might ask out. And we've talked about this before on the show. At what point does Joel Embiid say, yo, enough with this dysfunction. Get me the hell out of here. But Joel Embiid does love Philadelphia. He loves the fans. He loves playing here in this city. He is going to do everything in his power to send a message to the management of this team first. And then if it continues on, then he might say, yo, get me out. Hey, where does Dame Lillard want to play? Miami. Who else plays in Miami? His best buddy, Jimmy Butler. I saw I think whether it was WIP or The Fanatic posted something. Or maybe it was Crossing Broad, or I don't know who posted it. A bigger site than me. That Dame, Joel, and Jimmy is happening in 2024. I was just like, in my wildest dreams. Yeah, in this chat, it's bros. Well, you're the troll. Screw this Scooter. The guy never did anything in any postseason ever. Is holding. That's fine. And it's very valid. And I just don't know how to feel. I know I don't like to talk positively about some of the other radio stations out there. But they put out a poll this morning, my competitor. And if you're listening to the dial and then going on social media to complain about the dial, that's your fault. You could come on here and talk sports and actually have your opinion heard. But they put out a poll. Who is to blame for this Sixers situation? Daryl Morey or James Harden? And I said it should say option C, both. Well, option D would be Josh Harris for putting Daryl Morey in this position of power, but that's beside the point. This is, has there ever been a bro fest? A best buddy fest? A best friends fest? Like Daryl Morey and James Harden that's fallen apart so quickly? Outside of T.O. Don McNabb. Because everybody remembers the falling apart. But people forget once they came to Philly in the preseason games and all the media interviews, they were laughing, buddy, goofing around all the time. And this is now the next biggest blow up. You're not going to see James Harden doing sit-ups in his driveway. But you're seeing him ride a scooter around a stadium. The train wreck is going a little faster. Yeah, well, the scooter wreck is going, he was driving down the boat docks. I saw a cruise ship in the background, I think. First off, you got to have some permission to get on a cruise ship boat dock like that because there's some tight security on cruise ships and the piers. And he's riding his little scooter down the cruise ship pier there. Dude, it's a scooter wreck. And I've seen scooter wrecks in person. I have seen people wipe out on mopeds in little countries when I was traveling the world. It ain't fun. But I almost wanted it to, just to symbolize what is going on with the Sixers right now. EC1 football. Patrick Queen time. One more week. We're going to get to the Eagles, EC. We are. I love that photo, by the way. That profile picture. If you guys can't see it, zoom in on the screen. Green fellas. That looks like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown, I'm assuming. Fantastic picture right there, my man. Love it. But we'll get back to the football in a second. Because this James Harden thing, I just don't know who fully to blame. But what's the result? What's going to be the end result of this situation? All right. I hear you. Loud and clear. And we're going to talk about it because linebackers are on my agenda today. The depth chart and where the linebackers fall on the agenda. We are going to talk about it. But I got to clear my mind of James Harden one more time. I said it last week, how great it was not to think about the Sixers for 3 weeks this offseason. The guy is cooked. Should never have been extended. James Harden, he's cooked. Daryl Morey's cooked too. He was never cooked to begin with. PJ Tucker was cooked a long time ago. So who's to blame for this? And what's the end result? Because you've got two hard-nosed individuals in Daryl Morey and James Harden. Both say they want X, and there's no compromise. James Harden is going to hold this team hostage, and Daryl Morey is going to do the same thing. Do your Cowboys in 76. Dude, at least the Cowboys solved their one major issue, and that was Zach Martin holding out. They gave him his extension. This James Harden situation, I said it yesterday because it was just fresh in my mind, and, I didn't know. Really, I'd watched the video one time, and then I came right live on the air. So I just had instant reaction yesterday. But today, it's like, I don't see how this can end well. Hell, at some point, you just got to say, cut the guy, eat the money, and just cut him. Because you don't want the distraction. Everyone is to blame. From the front office, Harden for taking a pay cut for a promise, Elton for being Elton Brand, and Joel and Tobias. Look, yeah, I think the end part here, Joel, Tobias, and James Harden for coming up small in the playoffs again. Think about it this way, Marshawn. If we don't lose that Boston Celtics series, even if we go on and lose in the next round of the playoffs to Miami, even if that happens, if we get out of the second round for the first time, this entire offseason plays out differently. Because Joel Embiid can get past the second round. Because James Harden gets to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because Tobias Harris scores more than 2 points in a playoff game. Everything changes if they just win Game 6 or Game 7. Everything. Man, if just Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie can be in control of every team in Philadelphia, I'd be one happy man. I think all of Philadelphia would be happy. Like, I just don't understand or can't fathom what the end results. Daryl Morey is not going to just trade James Harden for 3 or 4 role players, even 2 or 3 role players. He has said it time and time again. He wants draft picks, and he wants a star player. He ain't going to get a star player. Now, this could linger on till the trade deadline. I saw some Lakers rumors earlier, yesterday afternoon maybe, that maybe the Lakers at the trade deadline or getting close to the trade deadline, maybe they offer someone like Rui Hachimura or D'Angelo Russell. Is he still there? Whoever one of their scorers is, one of their gunners. Maybe they offer one of those players for Harden at the deadline to kind of put James over the hump there. Maybe LeBron James pushes for a guy like Harden. Why, I don't know. You see people like Kyrie Irving and other NBA players sticking up for Harden. And again, back to the Joel Embiid side of it, you don't see anybody sticking up for Joel Embiid in this situation. But Joel Embiid is saying something here by changing to social media. It's not, I want out. It's not that. It's, you better do something or we're going to have a problem on our hands. You trade Harden for a conditional 6th rounder that could turn into a 5th. That would be how he would trade him for a conditional 7th that could turn into a 1st. And it would turn into a 1st just because that's how lucky Howie always is. EC1 movies. Yeah, we'll get. I want this. Kyrie is a weirdo, obviously, but he's an outstanding basketball player when he wants to be. But this is just such, like, we've had so many black marks. If you still want to call it the process, I'll just call it the Sixers organization. So many black marks on this organization over the last 4, 5, 6 years. Firing Sam Hinkie, the Colangelo Burner gate, the Jimmy Butler situation, the Ben Simmons situation. And now this. And I don't see an end. And I don't even know what he's saying. I just saw Adam Silver's name. Needs to get his NBA under control. Drew, this is so interesting. Adam Silver has spent so much time this offseason putting his foot down with the Dame Lillard situation, trying to control how the players run this league. And now you've got this Sixers situation unfolding. And I don't see how he can reel this in. He's not going to tell James Harden you've got to play. And he's not going to tell, Daryl Morey, you have to make the trade because that would counteract what he does. Like, I don't see an end in sight. This is a situation, what's going on with the Sixers. It makes you count your Eagles' blessings. We've had our drama in Philly with the Eagles in the past, but we are a drama-free Eagles team right now. And the Sixers situation, makes us appreciate it more, but B, it just goes to show I don't see an end in sight. Got a lot of people watching. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube and Facebook. Come on, help me appreciate that. Help the algorithm grow here on this show. However, 76ers are interesting. They ate an absolute tire fire. It is a clown show, Mad Chatter, without a shadow of a doubt. Carson Wentz and Harden have in common, both soft and suck. We're going to see James Harden rocking the Carson Wentz gear with a Sixers jersey, net shorts, a Rockets hat, and OKC socks. That's what we're going to see. Daryl needs to go. We wouldn't be, and I brought this up yesterday. This does not solve the Harden situation. But if Josh Harris would wake up and realize he owns a basketball team, he should fire Daryl Morey right now. Let Elton Brand or bring somebody else in. And then let that person negotiate the Harden trade. Because Daryl Morey has let it get to this situation by bringing in James Harden to begin with. And Judlin, of course, Harden's got to go. But how and when? That's what I don't get. And that's what I can't wrap my head around. How does he go and when does he go? And can Daryl Morey operate in good faith? Like, let's backtrack for a second here. There was the obvious rumored Tyler Halliburton trade on the table for Ben Simmons, but Daryl Morey was so dead set in his way to get James Harden here. Can you trust Daryl Morey to get us out of the situation he put us in? I'm not taking James Harden's side. If he was promised a wink-wink handshake, promised raise this year, that's on him for accepting a handshake deal. Hey, bros and friends and family, we're all cool. But if we're talking big money, I still want it in writing. That's on James Harden. But Daryl Morey got us into this situation. And I cannot trust Daryl Morey to get us out of this situation. And that's the problem. Would Harden be content if they move on from Morey? And Tyrone, that's an interesting thing. He says he won't play for Daryl Morey, that Daryl Morey is a liar. He never said he would not play for the Philadelphia 76ers. He said he would not play for Daryl Morey and the team that he works for. So if they fire Daryl Morey, maybe they can get Harden into camp. Harden can show that he's in shape, and then maybe whoever takes over for Daryl Morey can find a trade partner for James Harden. Or maybe James Harden can create some value by being in shape and playing a few good games. It's a big part right there, Tyrone. And I put that out there yesterday on Twitter, and I think it's a very fair comment. I'm still confused what Harden is mad about. James Harden is mad because supposedly there was a wink-wink handshake agreement, take a pay cut last year, and then this offseason we will give you a big raise so that we could bring in P.J. Tucker, Danuel House Jr., and all the other former Rockets that I want. I'm speaking as Daryl Morey. And I will give you your money next year. And then James Harden goes out and stinks. And Daryl Morey's like, crap, I can't pay him $200 million. I'll be lynched in Philly. That's what he's mad about. Trade Embiid to Pelicans for Brandon Ingram and draft picks. Start the rebuild. Let's not go there, mister. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to the Joel Embiid trade thing yet. I know it's coming in this situation. I know that there is a chance that this might happen. And it pains me. It pains me. I don't want it to happen. But we might be getting there at some point. He's busy with his NFL club. Yeah. Josh Harris don't even know. Josh Harris probably doesn't even realize what's going on right now. Josh Harris don't care about nothing other than making money. Throw the whole 76ers away. Send them to another city. Send them to Seattle. Let them become the Seattle 76ers. Let's just start a whole new, expansion franchise here in Philly. I get the frustration, Nick. I do. Because I'm frustrated. Like I said, my blood pressure has come down so much over the last 2-3 weeks because all we've done is talk football and all the positivity of our Philadelphia Eagles. But here we are, back at it, talking about this dreck of a Sixers organization. Gave up too much and getting nothing back. Larry, of course. Like, there was never a point till yesterday where I finally said that we lost the Ben Simmons trade. But guess what? We did. At least they got draft picks, Brooklyn, if he doesn't play. But for that to happen, Harden can't quit. He needs to be fired. Look, Daryl Morey can be fired. At this point, he's embarrassing himself and $1 billion organization. We need to stop pretending he has the same value at 5 years ago and trade him to whoever will take him. I agree. But, gentlemen, who's going to take him? Who's going to take him that has the salary matching contracts that the Sixers could? Because, again, you can't just trade him. It's not football. You can't trade a player for a 4th-round pick. You can't trade a $35 million player for a prospect. You got to match salaries. And that's the problem. You gotta find a partner that's got something that they could trade back, whether we want it or not. If the Sixers fire Morey, then they are picking Harden over Embiid. No. I think Embiid doesn't get. I think Embiid knows. I think Embiid's smart enough to know that the Sixers team next year is better with Harden than without him. Because you're not getting anything of value in a trade that's going to make them even better. I think Joel knows that. Joel's fine if they move on from Harden. But I also think he knows that they'll be a good team if they keep him. And keep him happy. Yeah, I mean, man, Cheddar, if you didn't see the scooter riding thing and him dancing and doing this on a... Dude, get that man out of my city. I'm embarrassed that he's got... you know what, after the show, I know it's hiding behind Sugar Shane Falco. I'm taking that James Harden jersey down. I don't want it up there. I don't even want it hanging in my room anymore. If Harden didn't have the attitude issues, what do you think his skill set would get back on the open market if you traded him? You would get some of those deals that we talked about from like the Clippers. Or back in before free agency started, we talked about Dallas. You get 2 or 3 role players. You're not going to get a star. You get 2 or 3 role players and that's what you get. And in today's NBA, you can win with 2 stars and a bunch of role players as long as they know their role. I know this is far left, but imagine a storyline in which the Sixers trade Embiid instead of Harden. Stop. I don't want to trade Joel Embiid. It's the last resort. It's the last thing that can happen. Why can't we get winners in Philly basketball? I'm not a Phillies fan, but hey, I say thank God we got Joel Embiid in this Eagles organization. Thank God we got Bryce Harper too. Guys that get Philadelphia. James Harden don't get Philadelphia and don't give a crap about Philadelphia. We all love to cheer him on when we got him. But man, he's not one of us. He never fully embraced the Philadelphia way. Joel removing everything Philadelphia on his social media is a calculated chess move to help Harden get paid. Well, he can't get paid now. He picked up his option. If Daryl Morey is the Chip Kelly Sixers, I will... Look, the big thing is, like, what is up? I love first-time listeners. We're talking Sixers right now, James Harden. We're moving on to the Eagles in a few minutes because I'm about to blow a blood vessel here talking about this. I'm going to end the Sixers talk with these last few comments and one more thought. Like, if James Harden was so frustrated and so disappointed with the way this situation played out, why in the hell would he pick up his player option? The $35 million one-year deal, and that sends him to free agency next year, where he's going to be 1 year older, all this other controversy. It makes zero sense to me even more now than it did before. Like, it doesn't make sense why he would pick up that option. It doesn't. He's unhappy. He doesn't like Philadelphia. He won't play for a liar like Daryl Morey. So let's sign a 1-year contract to screw them up a little bit. Is it just that he doesn't... To me, it's like he doesn't care about basketball. So he's willing to pick up his contract to screw the Sixers organization and Daryl Morey. And if he has to sit out, he sits out. He's made enough money. I don't care. I'll go to China and play. They'll treat me like the reincarnated Christ over there. A week ago, it would have been a lot easier to find him a trade. Absolutely. Every moment that goes by makes it harder, Judlin. Every moment. And now after this week, Nobody's going to trade for him. I don't know how the outright releases and contract buyouts work in the NBA to a T. I'm not a contract guy. I'm not an accountant. But, man, the Sixers are at a point where they might have to just buy his contract out so he can go be a free agent and go sign wherever he wants, because no team is going to trade assets. The Joel Embiid jersey's hiding behind Roy Halladay there. He could stay hidden for now. I don't have a problem with what Joel Embiid did. Joel Embiid is sending a message to management. Get the shit taken care of. Which team has the most expiring contracts? Do that deal and eat those contracts while getting some draft capital. Like, you're not even going to get a decent second-round pick, Tyrone. I know it's still James Harden, but no team is seeing this and saying, I'm giving up draft picks. No, we're doing training camp. Give me 2 minutes to wrap up these last few comments, and we are moving on to the power of positivity, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. For sure. Marcus Smart. Hey, Marcus Smart's the kind of guy that you hate until he's on your team, and then you love. He's too old to get some valued players in return. Exactly. Yeah, bite the bullet on him. You might have to. Josh Harris might be the worst owner he is the worst owner in the city. And that's saying something, since Comcast Spectacor still owns the Flyers, Drew. Don't end the Sixers talk. Come on. Don't we want some positivity? My blood pressure meds can't take this right now. Phil Harden is doing the Costanza bit. Yeah, he's just walking out. Daryl Morey just hired Nick Nurse. Could you imagine being Nick Nurse? Being like, this is what I signed up for? You get a few $100 million, you get bored. I'm bored right now. I'm not bored. I hope Lori's watching this Sixers drama and buy this team. Yeah, I mean, Josh Harris has got to go. He's obsolete as an owner. That is right. Let's move on. Marshawn, you got it. I'm out. No, stop. We're all family here, SMD. We're all just having fun. That's what this is about. It's about your opinions, and I'm getting to them. Norman Brayman, that was the worst. Former Eagles owner. That's a great segue. And the Sixers talk. He's got a business to run later. Yeah, exactly. No positivity, fam. Hurts got picked off by the Browns. I know. Do we have a quarterback controversy brewing in camp? No, we do not. He did have the Eagles yesterday. Let's move on. We got the midnight greet at the bottom. Make sure you're hitting this. You're watching Trending in the AM here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Let's get back to the good stuff. The Eagles, the NFL. We could talk Eagles. We could talk NFL. Zeke and Dalvin Cook signed with teams yesterday. Hit that like button. 11 likes, 12 likes now. Oh, wow, right as I'm looking. Not enough. Hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. So things on my agenda for Eagles. Obviously, really cool to see Jalen Hurts sign with the Jordan brand. Ever any doubt that the Jordan brand would want to associate with someone like Jalen Hurts? Absolutely not. Jalen Hurts, the Eagles at practice yesterday against the Cleveland Browns. We can learn a lot. Obviously, it's just practice. I know you guys hate ESP, Elliott Shore-Parks. A lot of people had the Eagles losing yesterday's practice. In the end on the recap, it doesn't really matter if they win or lose. I guess supposedly Nick Sirianni's 6-2, quote unquote, in joint practices. It doesn't matter. What does matter is certain things. First off, it seems like we dodged a bullet yesterday in practice. Landon Dickerson went to the medical tent, came out, and was hurt. Didn't come back to practice. Seems like after practice, he was walking around, seemed okay. Seemed like it was just precautionary that he didn't go back to practice. And it'll probably be precautionary that he doesn't practice again today. Jason Kelce went down late in practice, but it seems like he was just kicked and was a little sore. So precautionary towards the end of practice. But it just goes to show our offensive line took a beating when Landon Dickerson was not out there for most of practice. Sills and Opeda filled in for Landon Dickerson when he was down. And they're just not Landon Dickerson. Just think about the Eagles for a second. They draft Landon Dickerson to be the heir apparent to Jason Kelce. Kelce's like, nah, I'm good. So he moves over, becomes the best left guard in football. So they draft Cam Jurgens to be the heir apparent. Kelce's like, nah, I'm good. So they're turning him into the best right guard in football, like that. The Eagles no longer will ever get crushed by Zeke, except for in week 1. Ezekiel Elliott The Patriots see what's going on in the Eagles preseason game, and they see Jalen Carter. Look, it's not that I stomach him. There's two things about ESP. One, I don't believe in, unless you say something super offensive, I don't call out the major names. Never know. I might try to get somebody on. Like I got my man Martin Frank from Delaware, Delaware.com or Delaware, I forget where he writes. One of the beat reporters for the Eagles. He's coming on next week. Just locked that up yesterday. I don't believe in being uber negative unless you're super like Skip Bayless or Dan Cilio. I'll crush them because they said some pretty offensive, awful things. But ESP is just not my cup of tea or your cup of tea. But he does put certain information out there that is important. He does great draft recaps. He tracks every single Jalen Hurts practice pass, which is good for us to digest and look at. It's not like I like the guy, but he does put information out there that we can break down. And that's all it is. But the big thing from practice yesterday was Ezekiel Elliott signs with the Patriots, $6 million or whatever it was. And the Patriots did that because they saw the first preseason game. They're like, crap, look at Jalen Carter. We got to face him in week 1. We better go get another running back. And they spent like all this money that they won't spend on running backs across the NFL, and Ezekiel Elliott gets $6 million. Dalvin Cook gets $8 yesterday. Man, you're telling me your Bills couldn't go out and get Zeke or Dalvin for that money? Pathetic. But Jalen Carter yesterday, another one of the bright spots yesterday from practice. And there's something that came out, and I didn't see too many reporters dip into this too much. But there was a point in practice yesterday where twice Jalen Carter lined up as a defensive end. Just imagine that. Jalen Carter's already so talented that he's going to start probably opposite of Fletcher Cox as the defensive tackle on the first play. But if you want to get a bigger line for certain types of plays, you can line him up on the end, and he can get after the quarterback. Jerry Jones saw that Carter clip and went viral and caved it. Yeah, SMD. 1,000% true. Everybody saw the Jalen Carter tape, and it's changing their teams if they've got to play the Eagles. I will stand by it. I've said it 100 times already on this show. Jalen Carter, when we do a redraft of the 2023 draft 5 years from now, will be number 1 or 2 in everybody's redraft. That's how talented Jalen Carter is. I said it yesterday, SMD, on this show. The fact that he said after that preseason game on Saturday that he knew he was going to play a few plays, and he knew he was going to go up against one guy specifically. He watched film on a backup Ravens lineman to face him for 2 plays. That's how dedicated he is to his craft. Watching film for a preseason game backup. Just maybe I'll face this guy twice. He is going to be scary. And I see that report yesterday. They lined up on the edge to blitz a quarterback. And I saw that club and movie makes, and I'm like, could you imagine being a left tackle and being like, Jalen Carter's man, insane. Josh Ball would have gotten killed if they tried him out in any of the interior D-line. Yeah, that's right. Phil runs better than Zeke at this point. I don't know about that. But Zeke ain't running much in the NFL. It's close. In a foot race, it'll be close between. He might have the edge because he has 2 legs. I have 1.5 legs, so he might have a slight advantage to me. Phil, pump the car brakes. No. No, we're not pumping no brakes on Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's the real deal. I would have him line up at a 5 technique and Davis at 3 technique and Cox at the 1 tech. And let's go. Could you just imagine being an opposing offense quarterback, the line, and you got Carter, Davis, Cox, Sweat, and Reddick. Just put those 5 guys out there all at the same time. How do you stop it? No 5 offensive linemen and a running back or a tight end is stopping those 5 guys. If you double team one guy on the end, you got 4 guys with single blocking on them. And no way they're being stopped. Not happening. We see this team have 70 sacks last year, and everyone's worried because Javon Hargrave left. And obviously, he was one of our best players on defense last year. And you go out and get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith to replace Javon Hargrave. Come on. And we've talked about, let me go back in my notes here, about how this Eagles team will find room for certain guys on the 53-man roster. And we've talked about it. I track the last 4 years on the 53-man roster. They've kept 9 defensive linemen the last 2 years on this roster. 8 linebackers. And Reddick and Nolan Smith fit that linebacker because of the quick success and ascension of Jalen Carter. There's a scenario. You want a 4th running back, or you want, a 5th safety or a 6th cornerback. There's a scenario where you could get away with only keeping 8 defensive linemen because how quickly Jalen Carter is adjusting to life in the NFL. I really do feel that. And I'm going to do some 53-man roster predictions as the weeks go on here, but I think there's a scenario where you could keep less on the defensive line and linebacker because certain players. This is a great little segue. We'll get back to the Eagles in a second. We crushed Jonathan Gannon in the city. But who's in town? The Cleveland Browns. Who's the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator? You guys can put it in the comments. I'm going to throw it out there. We're going to talk Eagles, but I'm throwing this extra topic out there. I saw the pictures of Cox and Graham and Kelce all buddying up with Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator. He got crucified by me too in this city for a long time. His sticks defense, his soft defense got crucified in this city. But will there come a time where Jim Schwartz will be appreciated? I look back already, and it's only been a couple years, and say Jim Schwartz deserves appreciation. He was the defensive coordinator on a Super Bowl winning, the only Super Bowl winning team in Eagles history. And yeah, the defense gave up a lot in that Super Bowl. But most of his playoff games outside of that Super Bowl were 20 points or less. His defenses came up big in the big moments. Bend, don't break. The sticks defense stunk. We hated it. But will there come a time where Jim Schwartz is given the credit he deserves for helping lead this team to a Super Bowl? Think about it also, he was a former head coach, and you had a very young Doug Peterson as your head coach in 2017. That's why I wanted a veteran guy on this coaching staff now for Nick Sirianni. You got 2 young coordinators, but you get a veteran guy in to kind of help ease some of the pressure on your young head coach. That's right. I mean, nobody liked Jonathan Gannon. And I don't think there'll ever come a time where we're pro Jonathan Gannon in this city, but Jim Schwartz might be time. The option teams will be to run hurry up offenses. With that defense, yeah, I mean, you got some big guys. But Jordan Davis is the only one that can't go. Heavy. Sean Desai already blitzing pressure up on these wide receivers. Yeah, I still concerned about Sean Desai. Communication, experience. Come on. That's right, Adam. Let's give some Jim Schwartz credit where credit is due. Let's do it. Are Eagles Thursday night football this week? They are. They're Thursday night football this week. Yeah, you got to get your snacks all right. Super Bowl winning coordinator Jim Schwartz. Give him credit. And this is the thing right here. He was definitely way better than Jonathan Gannon. But we didn't think of it at the time. Let's be honest. This city crushed Jim Schwartz. Hell, I had Craig James. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was like a backup practice squad cornerback. Back when I first started doing podcasting back 3 years ago, had Craig James on. I tried so hard. I tried egging him on so many times to criticize Jim Schwartz's sticks D. I even said it. What do you think of the sticks D? And he just gave me a little grin and just changed the subject really quickly. Jim Schwartz. We're all better than Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon will be a disaster in Arizona, and he will not get the appreciation that Jim Schwartz deserves. He didn't win a Super Bowl, Jonathan Gannon. He lost the Super Bowl, and his defense lost it. His defense sacked Brady, which led to 3 points. Always respected Schwartz. His team rushed the quarterback and was number 1 in run defense. Yeah. I mean, I crushed him. I hated the sticks defense, guys. Hated it. But you see the players, obviously, there's no ill will towards them. When we had a joint practice with the Cardinals, you wouldn't see the Eagles going up and handshaking with Jonathan Gannon. But you see all the vets on the Eagles. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, all going up to my man Schwartz, saying, what's up? Give him credit. I appreciate that. All these D coordinators play the percentage. It's not about the yards, it's about the points. It's a fair point. Give up yards. Bend, don't break. New name for Gannon, sunglasses free. I'm going to the game Thursday versus the Browns. That is awesome, Adam. I've been to a few preseason games. They're fun, but they're expensive still. Even if you get the tickets for free, they're expensive. If I lived in Philly, I would buy a truckload of Fox's Den Pizza. It's Fox's Pizza Den, Mr. Troll. Browns practicing hard against the Super Bowl bound Eagles. We've got to get used to it. This is actually a great point here. We talked about it before. We got a target on our backs. We didn't win that practice if you want to say wins and losses in practices. Why? Because the Cleveland Browns came out and gave 110%. It's not saying the Eagles didn't practice hard yesterday. They did. But even in practice, the Browns know all eyes are on this team. The world is looking. Everything the Eagles do. And they gave 110%. They know if you're a Cleveland Browns player and you're on a roster bubble and you get cut, you got footage from playing hard against this Philadelphia Eagles team in practice. I love it. I love it. And I obviously Stefanski said, and I'm assuming Nick Sirianni will say it too, Stars aren't playing on Thursday, Adam, just so you know. Much improved linebacker talent and coaching. Better support against the run than in past years. Is Jalen playing? I would assume no. Stefanski has already said none of the ones are playing for the Browns on Thursday. So my guess is we don't see Jalen Hurts at all in preseason games. That's me wanting to talk Phillies baseball a little bit there, saying spring training. You know, I always want to throw a little Phillies in there. Again, we're only at 13 likes, 22 people watching. Let's go pound that like button, guys. Great picture again, and even better comment, EC1. Why aren't you EC3? EC3. EC1. That means you're the original EC. Jim Schwartz was underrated big time, and everyone is always held. And this is the key thing, John, and it's a great comment. All defensive coordinators, especially for us old heads, the young 21s, 22-year-olds out there, they don't remember or know the Jim Schwartz or Jim Johnson standards, the Jim Johnson era. That was a special time for Eagles defense, even though we didn't win anything under Jim Johnson. But everybody will always be held up to the Jim Schwartz or the Jim Johnson, standard. And Jim Schwartz had really good runs here in Philly. And again, we won the freaking Super Bowl, the only in our history. So let's give them the respect that we deserve. The mentality has to be they are the gutters, not the hunted. I like that line. I like that, Tyrone. They got to be the gutters. They can't be the hunted. They are the hunted, though. When when you make the Super Bowl, you're the hunted. There's no doubt about it. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everyone wants to show that they're better than you. That's why Zach Martin signed, because teams are scared of us. That's why Ezekiel Elliott, no, that's not why they signed Ezekiel Elliott, the Patriots, but, we can tell ourselves it is. Predict Hurts gets a drive or two. If the Browns are not playing any of their stars on defense, man, Chatter, then it's not smart to play them. It's not. I don't need some second stringer or third string defense and trying to make a name for himself going low and hurting Jalen Hurts. I don't need him to take a late hit on Jalen Hurts. I don't need it. Jalen Hurts is getting plenty of work. And yesterday, there was some struggles yesterday. And I like to see the struggles yesterday for the Eagles, because the struggles for the Eagles yesterday in practice gives them more motivation on what to work on in the next practice and the next practice and the next practice. Spagnuolo and McDermott were the coordinators that got away. Spags, he's okay. I mean, he does good. Is he still with Kansas City? I know he was with Kansas City last year. I'm assuming he's still there. Doug McDermott. Yeah, I'm calling Sean McDermott Dougie McBuckets here today. It tells you I haven't drank enough of my coffee yet today. Got to get that coffee flowing through the. I got to wake up an hour earlier now to suck extra coffee down so that I don't call Sean McDermott Dougie McDermott. I don't know. I think McDermott. I mean, we got a Buffalo Bills fan in the comments in Mad Chatter. I don't know. I think Sean McDermott, a little overrated. Little overrated as a coach. In fact, you giddy in the Super Bowl. I felt Cardinals should let us pick one of the players on their roster. Look, we all know the story. Gannon was distracted with the Super Bowl. Who knows what happens in the Super Bowl if Jonathan Gannon's not distracted? There's really a chance. Who knows? I lost my mouse. There it is. The rules preclude defenses from being dominant. All they can do is win a few series at best. That's true. It's no different than baseball, Tyrone. Every sport, and in basketball, every sport's changed. Because offense sells tickets, offense equals ratings on TV. Offense equals more jersey sales. It's why offensive players sell more jerseys than defensive players. It's all about the bottom dollar. So bend, don't break's okay. As long as your defense gives up less points than the other defense. They would definitely not play Jalen Hurts in Game 3. If you don't see him on Thursday night, you ain't see him at all. Game 3 is pointless. Game 3, you won't even see Marcus Mariota. It'll be the Tanner McGee and Ian Book show in Game 3. Spags has been in a lot of big games. No doubt about it. None whatsoever. Doug McDermott. Dude, hey, I'm sorry. You try to wake up early and do this. I'm assuming that's Liam. You wake up and do this on one cup of coffee. What I got to do, I got to set my Keurig machine up right next to my studio so that mid-show I could pour myself a second cup of coffee. That's what I got to do. One cup of coffee is just not enough. Sean McDermott, GOAT. I think you're a little wrong there. Again, wow, look at this. We're up to 28 people watching. We only got 14 likes on the YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Let's go. Pound that like button, guys. We got 30 minutes left in this show. So let's keep pounding through these comments here. McDermott didn't work out here after Johnson passed. Exactly. He was the first. SMD, McDermott was first, right? He was the first guy that took over. And he was only here for a year, I believe. Legendary coordinator under Red Landley. Dude, guys. Yeah. I mean, hey, I take it. You guys give it to me, I take it. It is what it is. Illegal tampering felt like covering more up. Well, I mean, they reported themselves. I mean, everything came out there, before the draft. Obviously, some shady business between Gannon and the Cardinals. Look, the Cardinals are a disaster. I'm sure you all saw the video or the picture of my man wearing his sports bra out there on the field. We're just going to leave it at that. Dougie Buckets being a 3-and-D meant third down. Yeah. McDermott was also only here as coordinator for a year when the defense had no talent except for Asante and Quentin Michael. Yeah, it was a different time. That was one of those down years for this team in talent. So maybe he didn't get a good rep or a good opportunity. When I said McDermott's a little overrated, I just think that he's one of the reasons why Buffalo can't get over the top. One of the many reasons. There are a couple. They're really good. I think you put a defensive coordinator or a different coach on there, get them a running back, change some of the schemes up there. Maybe Buffalo's a better team. Offense gets more fantasy, which gets more women, which gets more money. Just think about the way the NFL is. It's all about fantasy football, gambling. You got a team in Vegas now. You got ESPN partner making their own gambling app now. It's all about money. And offense is money. You don't see people putting their same game parlays out there with this guy getting 3+ sacks in a game or this defense holding an opponent under whatever. All your same game parlays are all about offense. Which quarterback's throwing the most touchdowns? Which receiver is catching the most? What is up, Eric? How you doing this morning? We got lots happening here. As long as my microphone doesn't die mid-show this time. That's all that matters. Phil is one of the peeps, all broken up because running backs only make 10. Look, it's not that I want them to make more than $10 million a year. I love old school football. I love offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I love H-back dives up the middle. I love hard-nosed, grinded-out football. I'm in the minority in that. I know that. I'd rather have a 2,000-yard rusher than a 5,000-yard passer. That's just me. I want a defense that gives up 12 points or less a game. It's just not the way football is anymore. Choke McDermott. Man, I still, Dougie McBuckets, man. Let's give the man some credit. Somebody once said that Dougie McDermott was going to be this great NBA player when he was in the draft. I forget what big-name person thought every team was going to be disappointed they didn't draft him number 1 overall. I don't remember who it was. Sean McDermott was a Jim Johnson understudy and was a good D coach, has been really good. Really good. Not great. That's the difference. There's a difference between there's a lot of really good coaches out there. There's only a few great coaches out there. Yeah. Liam's here doing some quality control on me. I know. He's got to see. He pokes his head in occasionally to see what's going on. Doesn't always comment. The only time he comments is the one moment where I call Sean McDermott Doug McDermott. Of course. I mean, I've only butchered every name in the business. Is Phil writing in chat? No, I'm not. The big boss man, Liam, from Philadelphia Sports Network, is commenting in the chat. You want me to, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't. They're not up here. They're down here. Flipping something. I always got something in my hand. You guys wanted the microphone stand back. I put it back. Now I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't have a mic to hold, so I'm flipping a coin here. My quality control work is encouraging the chaos. The chaos is this morning show. Especially, I mean, we still have 30 minutes left. We got 24 people watching. We've got about 20 likes between Facebook and YouTube. Pushing 135 comments already. Let's roll, people. That was a deep cut, Phil. Ouch. Yeah. Phil goes crazy over 4. I go crazy over a lot of things, so it is. 4-yard runs, they excite me, man. They do. Especially when for a first down. And as long as they're not from my quarterback. You're at your part-time. Hey, it's all good, man. Put it on for everybody to listen to at your job. Get everybody there interested in trending in the AM. Maybe my hero. I just don't think he's good enough to put you over the top. And I don't know how much control Sean McDermott has, man chatter, in player personnel decisions. I'm sure he communicates with your GM. But I just don't think that team is built properly to win a Super Bowl or even get to the Super Bowl. When was the last head coach to win the Super Bowl that was a defensive-minded coach? Huh. Well, Andy Reid, no. Not him. Sean McVay, not him. I don't know. I'll ask you. Where's the statistician? I don't know. Somebody got the answer for me? Can't intimidate wide receivers with big hits anymore. Passing is too easy. That's why running backs don't get, for sure. You can't sneeze on a wide receiver. You can't sneeze on a quarterback anymore unless it's Jalen Hurts. You can't. That's a problem. And that's why we have where we are. We need to bring back the fullback. That's right. The greats. John Ritchie. You still got one. What's the dude's name from San Francisco? Juszczyk. You still got one fullback out there in the NFL. And guess what? They run the ball a lot in San Francisco. Well, if so good, why haven't they gotten to Super Bowl? This man threw the ball in a blizzard. Yeah. Dougie McDermott. Man, you guys are just not going to let me live that one down. Fox's Pizza merch is unmatched. Fox's Pizza's food is unmatched. That is for sure. Pete Carroll? How long ago was that? When they won the Super Bowl. What year was that? That was the Marshawn Lynch. That was like 5-6 years ago. Obviously, Doug Peterson was an offensive coach. It might be Pete Carroll. Might be the last defensive-minded coach. And honestly, it's been so long since he's been a defensive coordinator. It's like Bill Belichick. He's a defensive-minded coach too, but it's been so long that he's just a head coach in my mind. Kyler Murray. I would never dress like that. Get the damn likes up. That is right. 15 likes is not enough. Not enough. No. Not going to do it. Let's go. Pound that like button. We got lots of people watching. And if you got comments, if it's your first time, I know we got some new people in today. This show's all about you trending in the AM. Whatever you want to talk about. Even when Man Chatter drops his USFL or Buffalo Bills, we put it up on the screen. We might blow through his comments a little quicker, but it is what it is. John, you look, no offense, don't take this personally. You got a little bit more gray in your beard than me. You remember the way it used to be. That was just football. I remember the bad boys at the Pistons. Hard-nosed basketball. Even in baseball. I can't even I can't shift my defense to stop the offense in baseball. I like old school sports. I don't like the change. I understand why the changes happen in sports. I get it. As a business owner, and for all the new people, I always like to plug my business. If you're ever in Kennett Square, Fox's Pizza Den. Come see me. I'll buy it. Well, I won't buy you. You can buy a pizza, and I'll make it for you. I remember old school. But as a business owner, I understand whatever sells is what you got to do, and offense sells. Smash Mouth Sports does not sell. Yeah, Belichick and Carroll are the last two defensive-minded coaches to really win. And they haven't won a Super Bowl in a few years. He was a defensive coordinator, though. Wasn't he like 40 years ago, it feels like? Yeah, Dan Quinn. That was two defensive coordinators in that Super Bowl. Disaster McDermott. Me saying Dougie McDermott was a disaster, that's for sure. Carroll McDermott, or Carroll Belichick. Yeah, that's it. Was Mike Tomlin a defensive coordinator before he became a head coach? Definitely a defensive-minded team. But he was even longer ago, his last Super Bowl victory than Carroll and Belichick. So they're the only Robert Saleh, if everybody gets what they think is right, Robert Saleh is going to win a Super Bowl this year, and he's a defensive-minded guy. FYI, he's not going to win a Super Bowl this year. The Jets, even with them signing Dalvin Cook yesterday, $8-some million, I don't buy it. Alan Lazard, Michelle Hardman, and all those. No. Jets, I still got at 6 wins. I know it's a bold take. I'll probably be wrong, but I would not be surprised if they don't win 9 games. I'm still going to bet them 6 wins. But, yeah, he should have been fired. Yeah. A lot of strange, inconsistent reporting. Heard both Browns and Eagles D look dominant. Yeah, Myles Garrett, man, Kia. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for commenting. Myles Garrett had his day and had his way with Jordan Mailata yesterday. But that's not really saying anything awful. I mean, Myles Garrett is 5 straight years, double-digit sacks. I think he's had 16 each of the last 2 years. I mean, it's not saying it's not like Jordan Mailata was getting beat by some 7th-round practice squatter. Jordan Mailata was getting beat by Myles Garrett. They did not look crisp yesterday. They did not. I wonder if yesterday's sluggishness or rough parts of practice had anything to do with the 5 o'clock start time. They've been practicing at 10 a.m. every day, the Eagles. They get up, they have a routine. Now, all of a sudden, you're throwing a different routine. I wonder if they just weren't up for it, which is not good. And I expect Nick Sirianni to hold them accountable today and after the next time they practice just as a team. He's not going to stand for yesterday's performance. The Eagles' defense did play well. I'm going to bring Kia's comment up again here. They did look good. The Browns just looked a little bit better. But you had Reed Blankenship. Great report to him. He had an interception. Reed Blankenship, man, for a guy at this point of last year, I didn't even know if it was going to make the team. Reed Blankenship he's solid. He has sold me. Last year and the start of this camp this year, I think we've got somebody special there in Reed Blankenship. He's turning into that guy, a guy that Philly fans can really get behind. He had a great camp yesterday. You heard Sean Desai talk about Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham embracing the Eagles culture so quickly. And I just keep going back to the one comment I wrote down when I was doing all my research for today. Jalen Carter playing defensive end. That's not getting any talk. That's right. Belichick, Carroll, Riviere, Gunn, Quinn, Kyler Murray must be hanging out with Zeke. Yeah, I mean, pathetic. The old saying is, used to bees don't make honey. Great comment. That's right. Fox's Pizza Den. Always got to plug when I can. What do you think of our linebacker core? Give me a second, SMD. I got to go back to my chart here. My 53-man roster chart. Last year, they kept 8 linebackers coming out of camp. 7 in 2021. But in 20 and 19, Howie Roseman only kept 6 linebackers. Remember, Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick count towards your linebackers on the 53-man roster. I see this year, you see a lot of stuff happening, SMD, with Terrell Edmonds playing a hybrid safety linebacker role. There were reports yesterday at practice that James Bradbury lined up as a hybrid safety, linebacker, cornerback, so that he could cover a tight end, which is very interesting. He should have been doing that in the Super Bowl against Travis Kelce, but Jonathan Gannon had already started, working for his Arizona Cardinals at that point. So I got the Eagles depth chart up here. I want to bring something up. Last year they had 8 linebackers. I think 7 is the max they keep this year. Nicholas Morrow is going to be cut. You got Reddick, Dean, and Smith, obviously. Zach Cunningham, Miles Jack is making the team. That's 5. Christian Ellis is 6. That might be it. Patrick Johnson might make the team, but if he starts on the PUP list, you only start with 6 guys. None of these other guys are going to be. This is where going back to the very first comment of the show today was about bringing Patrick Queen now. Right now, there's only 6 linebackers in my mind that make this team. And that gives you room to keep an extra. You keep Justin Evans as a 5th safety. You can keep a 7th cornerback. You can keep a 4th running back by doing that. And with the way this team is being built and designed, and we're seeing from practice all these hybrid roles for Edmonds and Blankenship and Bradbury, maybe you only need 6 or 7 linebackers. And we know the team doesn't value the linebacker position. So any worries about Nakobe Dean? Yeah, sure. I'm hyped for Nakobe Dean. I like Nakobe Dean. And I've been corrected on this show many times that me saying not hearing his name is bad. Other people say you can't really hear somebody's name until they start tackling in games for a linebacker position. So I don't know. But I need to see it. Like, I think he's going to be the real deal. But till we see it week 1 against New England, till we see him tackle Zeke Elliott behind the line of scrimmage on the first play of the game, I won't believe it till then. Old school basketball, when every team had their own identity and play style. That's right. It's been cold. It's hot in Philly. That's for sure. It was hot as hell yesterday. The 3-headed monsters in Miami in the 70s, Zonka, Kick, Morris, they were undefeated. Larry Zonka. Such a great name. I just like to say it, Zonka. 6 wins for those Jets, man. I love it. I love it. I'm so far. I was saying that like 5 minutes ago. I'm way behind on the comments here today. I get the hype, the Hurts hype, but Carter making a tackle in preseason. Oh, my God. Get out of my comment section. Just a random football fan and new listener. Well, thank you for tuning in, Kaya. I greatly appreciate it. Like, turn the notifications on. We don't just talk Philadelphia sports. We talk it all. We do. 75 minutes to 90 minutes every morning, Monday through Friday. That's why it's called Trending in the AM. We talk it all. Friday, I'm trying to line up a fantasy football expert to come on just to talk fantasy football on the show to help you guys get prepped for your drafts. That's it. We talk it all on this show. Jordan Mailata just got married. His legs a little weak. Yeah. This is a PG-rated show, so we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, you think Hal is going to make a move before the season starts? I'm assuming you mean Howie, Adam. Yes, I believe Howie makes another move. Once the cutdowns happen, there will be changes. But I do think this team, as constructed now, if they make the right moves on who to keep and who not to keep, there's enough on the 53-man roster right now to win that Super Bowl without making any moves, in my opinion. All I have to say, what linebacker core? Exactly. Who's the best Eagles running back? I have Shady over Brian Westbrook. Keith Byers? No, just kidding. I would say Shady's probably the best, most talented. Brian Westbrook wins our hearts over a little bit more. But yeah, Shady's probably the best. Every day, 9:15. If you follow me on Twitter, SMD, at Beard of Knowledge, if I go earlier, yesterday we went live at 8 a.m. I did an extra 15 minutes yesterday just because so much to talk about. If you follow me on Twitter, if I'm ever going live before 8:15, I post it on my Twitter, at Beard of Knowledge, just so you know. I was thinking about Deuce Staley. I love Deuce. Another guy, you can only get 4 yards up. That's right, 8:15 every day, except for when I go live. Something else. I will tell you this, kid. Watch your blind side. You try back to pass. I'm a brownie. Heard y'all's D-line look crisp. Also reports that Jalen Carter getting a sack and 5 quarterback hurries. Can't believe NFL. That is, so you're a Brown. So I tagged the Browns in this show. That's why you found this show. That's why doing the work before the show pays off. Getting the right hashtags, getting the right things. That's why it works. I saw a lot of people say the fact that the NFL let the Eagles, the rigged NFL, let the Eagles get Jalen Carter. Man, special. Wilbert Montgomery, Ricky Waters. Who? For what? Come on now. Wedding night, that's Phil's Discord talk. That's right. Yeah, we'll start a Discord talk about all the Eagles that got married and what they did on their wedding night. Yo, this right here, Michael O'Hare, The Blind Side. Did you guys see that story yesterday? Come out on ESPN. I've actually never seen the Blind Side movie. Never. Had no desire to see it. But this boy is like suing. He's out of the NFL now. I guess there's a lot of lies and cheating. A lot of stuff. That wasn't true in the Blind Side. Interesting. I was shocked when I read that. Like, I know, production companies take liberty with stories, but the fact that he's saying he was never adopted and this and that, crazy. Ricky Walters, I only saw highlights of him, but Ricky Walters was a great running back. Even in his 3 years in Philly, Marshawn, great running back. But he was Ricky Walters, and only older people semi-older people understand this. Ricky Walters was the Bobby Abreu of the Eagles. Wouldn't run through a wall, borderline Hall of Fame talent, great player, but just didn't live and breathe that Philadelphia blue chip collar mentality lifestyle. Barnett can get you another linebacker. You can recoup the fourth you gave for Carter for him. Yeah, Barnett might not make this team. I really thought he was, but now as strong as our defensive line and linebacker core are, he might not be. Maybe he's a trade piece. Hey, every day, my man. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Yeah, you want me to start a Discord? I don't even know what it is, really. They blindsided Michael. I see what you did there. I bet you Sandra Bullock's not happy that she was involved in that now. I'm surprised. My wife said when that news came out, I'm surprised the media companies and the production companies didn't catch this information sooner. I know, Hollywood taking liberties. Really, who would have known? But it wasn't even about what Hollywood took liberties with. Supposedly his adopted parents weren't really his adopted parents. He was never officially adopted. And they made a lot of money on him. Interesting. I wonder why this information is even coming out. It's something I'm going to look into, follow along. I wonder why. He obviously played in the NFL for a long time. He probably doesn't need the money. I really wonder what it is. Ricky Walters had some of the finest alligator arms. That's it. Wasn't shocked at all. You're not shocked. Okay. Leonard Weaver was electric. Oh, man, there's a fullback for you. Leonard Weaver, man. Wish we had kept Gardner. Gardner Minshew, that is. Imagine Ricky Walter and Johnny Manziel. Two guys that just don't care. Oh, my God, Weaver. Dude was solid. Yeah, he got hurt. For who? For what? For all the lines that we say, practice. Practice? We say that line? Or playoffs? Playoffs? We say that stuff over and over again. But nobody says for who, for what. Enough. We need more people saying for who, for what. Let's make a campaign to have for who, for what more popular than practice, playoffs. That would be my goal. Let's try to find a way. You always want me to get my $1 Million Man impersonation in here? Well, I want to make sure we find a way to get for who, for what into every show from now on. Ricky would be like, chill. Yeah. Movies had some fake stuff now, obviously. Bryce Brown made the best of his opportunity. He has a book coming out. Oh, Michael Orr has a book coming out. Well, that's probably why. He's probably doing all this because he's trying to promote that book. Yo, we're in the final 10 minutes here. 17 likes, 5 likes. Let's get that number up. We got 27 people watching. Show's almost over. As you notice, I changed the bottom scrolling thing. $5 super chat. Only way we get overtime now. Same as Manziel. Got books. You got to promote your stuff. Wonder if he doesn't want kids taking advantage with. That's a great point, Nick. Very possible. Very, very possible. He just found out about being in conservative ships. I didn't even know what that was till yesterday, Larry. I won't lie. Charlie Gardner, part of Thunder and Lightning. Remember that nickname? Thunder and Lightning, man. If I had this back then, I would have made so many Thunder and Lightning shirts up and sold them. He was never adopted. Exactly. And again, had no clue. And honestly, like I said, I've never even seen the movie. Just didn't need to. I heard Sweat got injured yesterday. If the injury lingers, Barnett will make. I did not hear about the Sweat injury, mister. I heard about the Landon, Dickerson, Kelce, and there's one other I heard about. Well, Covey and Quez Watkins didn't practice. We'll say something. This is maybe something to dive into tomorrow, as we only got like 6 minutes left on the show. Britton Covey. might be on a roster bubble. You got Cleveland, you got Nagata, you got a whole bunch of guys fighting for a playoff spot if they only keep 5 wide receivers, which is what they do. 3 of the last 4 years, Howie only keeps 5 wide receivers. Britton Covey, all he does is special teams. And he's been injured for most of camp. Does he have a spot locked up? I don't know. I don't know if we have enough time to get through that many questions and comments. AI was ahead of his time with practice. Now players don't even play in the biggest games. Well, that's for sure. Mr. Stiefel, tear down that jersey. Nope. Sandra Bullock is Middle Earth. Yeah. What Harden wants out for who? For what? Exactly. Harden would be the perfect for who? For what? Right there. You know, and a Sixers fan saying, "Yo, don't you love us?" And he'd say, "For who? For what?" Yeah, for sure. I have another idea for a Discord, but I won't talk about it on the air. What's the over/under on Bede being traded? I would say minus 1,200 that he does not get traded. He's not getting traded. Not before the season starts. Sproles was that dude, especially for his size. Sproles, man. When that guy Johnny King caught that pass over the middle in the preseason game, wearing number 43 like Darren Sproles, I was like, what? When do we get Sproles back? But Barnett might be on the bubble, for sure. Yeah, these comments right now, man. I can't even keep up with them all. We got 5-6 minutes left, and I can't catch up. Frank Gore, the greatest Eagles running back that never was. Absolutely. Now there's a for who, for what right there. Yeah, I know. Dude, these kind of morning shows, I haven't even gotten through like 90% of what I wrote down here today, Judlin. These are the days that I love it, man. And this shit just goes on. But this is what it is. This show's about having fun. You can listen to the radio and those curmudgeons that have been talking and getting paid big bucks, or you can listen to me, who gets paid pennies. This is what you want to watch. This is the show. Especially now it's football season. And we don't have to talk about baseball, basketball. We talked basketball today. Remember Frank Gore's Eagle highlight? Dude, I mean, I think John Cena was in that highlight reel. Mr. Phil, start up your Discord. I got one. We'll just call my Discord Wake and Bake. Saturday morning, Wake and Bake Discord. You guys in for that? It says Sweat sacked Deshaun Watson yesterday. Yeah, I saw the sack writing. I did not see anything about him getting hurt. Anyone else want for pizza Discord show? That's right. For who, for what? I'd trade him for a case of tape and a year's supply of Gatorade. Depends on what color Gatorade. Blue, for sure. Yellow, probably. Orange Gatorade? No, I wouldn't trade him for orange Gatorade. Show me the pennies. That's right. That is right. DeMarco Murray. Watch Ryan Matthews. Or how about, what's his name? Brown and the jump pass. We're talking running backs here. You saw the movie? How was it? It's on my Netflix queue to watch. I just don't know how I feel about watching a movie with a guy that's invisible on my screen the whole time. How's Jackie Chan handle fighting an invisible John Cena all the time? You know, I know. Super cheesy. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You only saw a Jackie Chan movie. I think John Cena was at practice yesterday. Just no one saw him. All right, guys. Got to start the wrap-up process here. Got to start the wrap-up process. Got a busy day at work, of course, as always, guys. But this has been so crazy. We got another joint practice today. We'll read all the reports. Check out Philadelphia Sports Network, their website. You got Mike Greger. You've got Liam. You've got Brian Cameron. All doing a great job. Nick Faria covering the Eagles. If you check them out, they got great recaps of all the practices. Check out all the other beat reporters on Twitter and all their details. And guys, I know y'all hate ESP, but just follow them for camp updates. And then after camp ends, then you can just push them aside. It gives great stuff. If you're in the area of Kennett Square, I know, my man. Always there to support me, my man. Sack and Watson probably shouldn't be in the same. Yeah, this conversation today, out of control. I could see you. John Cena was the ghost GM that traded. Was he? You need a comically large mug. Better still, you need merch. I have a merch site. Check out my Twitter. It's linked in my Twitter somewhere. I do. I got my logos on shirts, merch, everything. Boston Scott. Man, he might be on the roster bubble, guys. You might not see Boston Scott this year in Eagles. I know. Tyrone's last comment, man. I love it. This show is out of control. That radio show said Sweat and Kelce had minor injuries yesterday. That radio show sucks. If it's on the radio, it sucks compared to what we got here every single morning. We give you the real thing. That show that you're talking about, I don't know which one. That show, don't care about your opinion. I do. $1. Ha! Gotcha. I trade James Harden for an oversized mug. That's right. That's right. Tyrone, yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God, you guys. I love you. Oh, once Harden hits 300 pounds, we could trade him for a linebacker. I think that would be possible. All right. Thank you very much, guys. We got to wrap this up. Look, it's just my thing. I just say my man. God, I say guys. Like, I talk to my employees. I'm like, hey, guys. And half my employees are girls. So it's just, man, guys, dude, and no offense. Tell your women friends to come check the show out. That's right, Adam, you did. I appreciate that always. Because, I was checking my analytics on YouTube the other day, sometime last week. And 100% of the people that watch this show are men. We need more women. We need more of the female voice on this show. Hell, I might invite you on the show as a guest just to get a female perspective on our Philadelphia Eagles. But thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Great show as always from everybody. The comments were off the hook. Dude, I own a pizza shop. Funny thing though, Marshawn. I got a degree in hotel restaurant management. Originally, one of my focuses was going to be on HR. Then I realized that I am a walking complaint. Can't help it. Hey, I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. We're going to wrap it up right there. Trending in the AM. Right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button. Follow me on Twitter @Beard and Knowledge for all the up-to-date random comments that I have on there. Y'all have a great Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow 8:15 with more Eagles practice talk. For who? For what? Hey, y'all have a great day. I'm going to come back. Go Birds!